Hey guys, it's David from Automotive Press, and I'm driving the Mazda CX-90, which is all new last year. And it's by far the most engaging, most fun to drive, and the best engineered and best built three-row SUVs in the world. If you don't believe me, watch some of my older videos I did looking at the quality of the fit and finish and the body panels, and you won't believe the amount of effort Mazda has placed into engineering and building these vehicles, building Hofu plant in Japan, just outside Hiroshima, and I've been there about 5 or 6 times and watched this thing being built. But right now, I just want to address one very important thing that comes up every time we talked about CX-90 or CX-70, and that is the timing chain, which is way at the back there. You can't really see it. And it has become an issue because we know my good old friend Ahmed from Car Care Nut has pointed out that if you ever have to replace the timing chain, this engine has to come out, and therefore it's going to be a real problem. However, what I want to clarify though, and I have discussed this with Ahmed too, is that the timing chain is actually supposed to be lifetime. So even though it's way at the back, you should never have to replace the timing chain, because first of all, it's not a timing belt, and therefore it's a very different kind of a product compared to a timing chain versus timing belt. But also, you don't have to replace it. It is meant to be there for a lifetime. And the only time you ever have to replace it is if something goes wrong with the timing chain or something is defective and you have to get to it and either replace it or look into it. And of course, the second issue is that if you have to replace it, then the engine has to come out. But most people don't realize that the modern design engineering these days is such that that is not a difficult work. So this part can come out forward, and then you can kind of slide the engine forward that way as well instead of lifting it. Depending on the type of work you have to do, that will change, of course. But taking this apart from the engine bay is not as big of a deal as most people think. There's a lot more work involved. For example, if you have to ever take interior apart or dash part apart, but the way they designed it, it's actually pretty straightforward. You hook a bunch of these things, remove the front bumper, which is not very difficult to do, and you can probably take the engine out in less than 45 minutes or so. So again, if you have to do that, it's not a huge amount of work. It's not too difficult. It's not too complicated. It's not like the old days where taking engine out of the bay was such a big deal. So just to address this issue, the timing chain is a lifetime. You shouldn't have to ever replace it. Even if you have to do it, it's actually not too difficult.